Have you ever been told, dogs bark, it's just what they do? That is true, but you don't have to allow barking whenever and wherever your dog feels like it. Barking can be managed. What I'm about to share with you today will explain why dogs bark, and more importantly, how you can manage their barking. The methods I'm going to share with you today are the methods that I use with my dogs, and I've taught to many clients to manage barking humanely, allowing our homes to go from loud and chaotic to calm and quiet. Hi, my name is Amy. I am a canine behavior consultant and trainer and founder of How to Speak Dog, where I help families just like you living with dogs who struggle to listen and teach them the canine life skills that will improve their dog's listening skills and stop all the feelings of embarrassment, worry, frustration, and confusion caused by their dog's bad behavior without spending hours and hours training or using methods that just don't solve the everyday problems pet parents face. Since 1983, I have transformed thousands of dogs with bad behavior into dogs who listen reliably no matter where they are or who is there. I'm here to help you transform your dog's behavior too. If you are new to the channel, welcome, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the brand new trainings I put out here every Tuesday. So let's get started. What is barking? To our dogs, it's a natural behavior, but to us and possibly our neighbors, it's a nuisance. When it becomes a problem, it can cause a whole host of other problems, such as angry neighbors, animal control violations, and your sanity. So what can you do about it? Since it is a natural behavior for our dogs, they do have to be allowed to bark sometimes. However, you do not have to just live with it or resort to inhumane methods like bark collars, shaking cans full of rocks or pennies, or spraying water in their face to get it to stop. You can teach your dog to stop barking on cue. First, let's talk about why dogs bark. They don't just bark randomly. Dogs have a purpose for everything they do, including barking. The main reasons dogs bark is to alert us to something they think we are not aware of, attempting to send something away that makes them scared or uncomfortable, in excitement, and to soothe big feelings. Now let's talk about what you can do to manage barking depending on why your dog is barking. If your dog is barking to alert you, often just letting them know that you are aware of what they're barking at and it's okay and they can relax is enough to get them to stop until the next thing that they alert you about. And remember, it is their perception of whether or not you have things under control. Regularly acknowledging your dog's barking and thanking them for alerting you also helps to build a strong connection with your dog, so they can begin to trust you and know that it really is okay if you say so. If they're barking in an attempt to send something away that makes them feel scared or uncomfortable, once the thing is far enough away or they are far enough away from it, the barking will usually stop. The problem is, every time, in their perception, they successfully sent the thing away, they get reinforced that their barking actually worked. Remember, what gets rewarded gets repeated, so they're rewarded by the scary thing going away. With all this practice that they've had, it's a little tougher to stop this kind of barking. There are often big feelings involved. The example I like to use a lot is when our dogs bark at the mailman. This could also be classified as territorial barking, but the main goal to the dog is to send the thing away that either doesn't belong or makes them uncomfortable. So what happens? The mail comes, the dog barks like crazy, and the mail person walks away. Now we know that they were leaving anyway, but our dogs think they sent them away. So here's another opportunity to practice this unwanted behavior every single day. Depending on how big your dog's feelings are in this situation, this too can be managed. Whether we're afraid, anxious, or excited, our body reacts the same way. The difference is how our mind perceives the situation. It's the same with our dogs. So why does it matter if your dog is barking in fear or excitement? Because your approach to each one is going to be different in how you manage it. If they're feeling excited and barking, you'll just want to calm them. If there's fear or anxiety, you'll need to calm them and reassure them. The goal is not to just stop the barking, it's to change your dog's feelings about why they're barking. If you change their feelings, their need to bark goes away. And finally, if your dog is barking to soothe big feelings, like frustration, anxiety, or boredom, addressing those things will usually make the barking go away. Now let's talk about some ways you can get your dog to stop barking. There are inhumane ways like spraying them in the face with water. Seems harmless, but think about how you would feel if someone sprayed you in the face to get you to stop talking. It most likely would work, but you sure wouldn't trust that person anymore, or even want to be around them. Same thing with using cans filled with pennies or rocks and throwing them towards the dog to startle them. There are also bark collars which emit shocks, high-pitched sounds, or even sprays. Every one of those is worse than just making your dog uncomfortable. So, since it's cruel to your dog to use the convenient methods to stop their barking, what can you do instead? You can interrupt the barking and redirect your dog to do something else, much like you would a toddler. It's not a long-term solution, because you would have to interrupt and redirect every single time your dog barks, which is nearly impossible, especially if you're not there or are busy doing something else. It is, however, good to use when you're teaching your dog to be quiet on cue, or in an unexpected situation where you were caught off guard, giving you a strategy to fall back on. Another way to stop barking is addressing the big feelings behind the barking, using desensitization and counter-conditioning. These methods can take a long time with incremental results. So this depends on several factors whether this is the right method for you and your dog. My favorite method, and the one that I use and teach clients, is building a powerful connection with your dog, so that they trust you when you tell them everything is okay and they have nothing to worry about. It's my favorite because it's something you can do every single day, multiple times a day. It is simple to do, not hard to learn, and extremely effective. It is based on simple shifts in your mindset and how you engage with your dog. It's all about giving your dog the right message that they need to hear to feel secure. In fact, you may already be doing some of the things, but if your dog still has behavior struggles that you want to change, I guarantee there is more you can do that you just don't know yet. One way to build a powerful connection with your dog is to use the framework I developed called the 5 Power Principles. Once you understand and implement these 5 things when engaging with your dog, your results will be almost instantaneous and only get better the more you practice. The 5 things are: determining what really motivates your dog and gets them excited, teaching them how to focus on you anytime you ask, discovering what they instinctively enjoy doing and giving them outlets for those behaviors, learning what their body language and vocalization signals are trying to tell you, getting crystal clear on what you expect from them, and telling them in a way that they can understand. When you have this foundation in place, it will solve 90% of the struggles you have with your dog's behavior. It will also help you troubleshoot what isn't working and give you next steps when the struggle is more complicated. So let's recap. We've talked about why your dog barks and what you can do about it. We've discussed inhumane and humane methods and the strengths and weaknesses of each. We also learned about one way to strengthen your connection with your dog using the Power Principles framework. If you want to learn more about my Power Principles framework that includes these barking tips and more, I invite you to check out my website, which is linked below. If you're ready to get started right away, you can check out my primer to the Power Principles framework called From Chaos to Calm, a guide to connecting powerfully with your dog. It's a 1-hour self-paced digital video course on sale right now for just $17. I will link to it directly below as well. And as always, if you have questions, please ask them in the comments. I've asked YouTube to recommend the next best video for you right here. I hope you found this training useful today, and I would love to hear any feedback you have once you've tried these strategies. I put new training videos out here every Tuesday, so if you don't want to miss any episodes, remember to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you right back here next week.